Two ways. I can go over every one, or you can just tell me which ones you need help with.
Everyone.
You lazy. Yeah. Why did I think anything else would have been coming out of this crowd? Okay. All right. Let's do it then. What are these? Those are the bumps. What are these? That's the grooves. Got it? Sulci are the grooves. Gyri are the bumps. Yes, no? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. So we need to know that because don't we have a very important gyrus in front of the central sulcus and one behind the central sulcus? What is the gyrus in the front of that central sulcus? Motor. What's the one behind the central sulcus? Sensory. Got it? The primary motor and the primary somatosensory. Right? That's the little red man or the little blue man, right? The little homunculus, the one who's what? Give me the two words you need to know for the homunculus. Upside down.
Lateral.
And contralateral, right? This guy controls this side of my body. This one controls that side of my body, right? Contralateral. Yeah? Okay. What are the meninges and the submeningeal spaces from top to bottom? Dura mater. Underneath it. Nope. Subdural space. Below that. Arachnoid mater. Below that. Subarachnoid space. Below that. Pia mater. Yeah? So, make sure you know what is in the subdural space. Somebody help me out. The dural sinus, where all the blue deoxygenated blood is collected. What is in the subarachnoid space? All the blood vessels of the brain. That's why it looks like a spider web. Arachnoid. Got it? Okay. What are EEG waves? Is that your heart? Beep, 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 beep. No. What are these? Brain waves. Thank you. Electroencephalograms. Right? And we only had 5 of them to worry about, right? Alpha, beta, delta, and theta. That's only 4. Got it. But we have to worry about it, right? So which one is I'm alert, I'm studying, I'm learning? Beta. Which one is I'm just kind of here, but not really paying attention? Idling. Alpha. Which one is I'm kind of fading away? Okay, and which one is I'm asleep already? Theta. Okay? Theta, then delta. Right, okay? Got it? Make sure you know, because I'm going to ask you, which one is the I'm awake? A, B, C, D. Which one is the one I'm idling? A, B, C, D. Does that make sense? Okay. It's a multiple choice test. Alrighty? Alright. Different kinds of plegia, inability to move arms and or legs. What is paraplegia? Okay. Waist down. Got it? Para, part. Alrighty? And where's the damage? Okay. T or L, right? Thoracic or lumbar? 10-4. What is hemiplegia? Half your body, left or right. Where's the damage? In the hemisphere on the opposite side. Quadriplegia. What's the problem? No arms, no leg movement, therefore from the neck down. C, cervical damage. Yeah? Okay. But that's how it's going to be written. Got it? Damage where leads to paraplegia, A, B, C, D. Are you with me? Don't overread these questions. It's very straightforward, alrighty? Okay. The limbic system is a series of parts of your brain, like the one we dissected on Monday. What is the limbic system's function? What's it all about?
Memory and emotion.
Okay. It's mostly emotions which affect your memories, okay, and affect your learning. But it's emotions. Got it? The cingulate gyrus is where we talk with our hands. That's emotions. We call that emoting. What do you call those little face things you can put on the end of an email?
Emotes.
Emojis. It comes from that word, emoting, to give off a feeling. Got it? All right. Which one is the gateway to learning?
Hippocampus.
Okay, hippocampus. We dug that out of the brain on Monday. What is the one in charge of fear and conspiracy theories? And they're out to get me. And Mr. Weber's going to make the test extra hard because he's evil. Which part of your brain is overactive right now? It's called the amygdala, the almond. Okay? The amygdala. That's the area of fear and worry. Alrighty? Okay. What's the reticular system? Again, a series of parts of your brain, but what's its purpose?
Sleep.
Not sleep. Nothing? It has to do with memory and attention.
Attention.
Remember? That's the one where do you need quiet for studying or do you need noise for studying? Get it? Your reticular system is the one that helps to get rid of extraneous noise. 10-4? So you can concentrate. All right. Cholinergic versus adrenergic. What do cholinergic neurons deal with? Acetylcholine. So do cholinergic receptors. Got it? What do adrenergic neurons deal with? Epinephrine and adrenaline. Okay? Epi, norepi are both called adrenaline, also known as catecholamines. Are you with me? Okay. Now, in general, which autonomic nervous system uses this? I can't hear you.
PNS.
Huh?
PNS.
Okay, peripheral, no. PNS, the peripheral nervous system. But also parasympathetic nervous system. Got it? So make sure you know which PNS you're talking about. So this is the parasympathetic, and this one would be related to the sympathetic, so fight or flight. Very good. What is the blood-brain barrier, and why do we have it? So what is it? It's not white blood cells.
It prevents your urea from entering.
It prevents
your brain.
urea in your blood from going into your brain, which will kill it. So who makes this barrier? Astrocytes. They wrap their feet around the capillaries to make sure that urea doesn't go through. Okay? What in urea is bad for your brain?
Ammonia.
Ammonia. Okay? Like Windex. And where did that ammonia come from? Soon to be in my 211 class. So you better know it now. Where did that ammonia come from?
Breaking down your food? Or?
What food?
Meat.
Starts with pro and ends with teen.
Oh, protein.
Proteins are the only food that contains nitrogen. And when your liver chops that nitrogen off, it becomes ammonia, so it immediately adds a carbon dioxide to that ammonia to make it a less toxic urea. Got it? So your liver does that for you. All right. What is the Babinski sign? When you rub the bottom of the foot, what does the Babinski sign make you do? Extends your toes like a baby. Is that normal for an adult? No. What should you do? Curl them up. Why are they sticking out like a baby? Damage to what? The sensory? No. Okay, we can sense that somebody's rubbing the bottom of the foot. So which one is damaged? The motor going to your toes. From your spinal cord to your toes is not working. Got it? In a baby, it's not formed yet. And if it's happening in an adult, it's damaged of some kind. Got it? Sensory is fine. We know somebody's touching the bottom of our foot, but we're sending the wrong message back to our foot. Got it? The motor is going in the wrong direction. All right. What is cerebral palsy? Say it again? No. That's Bell's palsy. What's cerebral palsy? Bell's palsy is numbness in the face. Because of what nerve got damaged? Facial.
Trigeminal.
Trigeminal. Okay, so what's the problem with cerebral palsy? That's why they need to have a service dog carry their books for them in school. Remember the picture? And they also have tremors, and they have inability to walk without crutches. What is it? I mean, those are the manifestations of cerebral palsy. What is cerebral palsy? What caused it?
The damage to your motor.
Nope. Lack of oxygen for a certain amount of time during birth. Like having the umbilical cord wrapped around the neck. Got it? Oxygen was cut off to the brain for a certain amount of time, so now there's permanent brain damage. Got it? Which manifests itself as palsy, inability to correctly move the body. But the origin is in your brain. It's not damage of these nerves, it's a damage of these nerve motor areas. 10-4, due to a temporary lack of oxygen. If it was a complete lack of oxygen, then you're dead. Does that make sense? Okay. Let's slide this up. Okay. Oh, my leg on the right side can't feel anything. Where's the damage? I can't hear you. Well, it can't be on the right side because it's got to be on the opposite. So it's on the left side where?
In the front.
Wrong. It is not in the front because I said I can't feel. So it's in the
Back.
okay. Which gyrus? We just did this like 6 minutes ago. Which gyrus is somatosensory? Gyrus, bulge. Which bulge? The one in front of the central sulcus or behind the central sulcus? And what do I call that sulcus? Post-central. Post, behind what? The central sulcus. Post-central gyrus. High or low? Why? Because the little man is upside down. The hands are down here, the feet are up here. I said my legs don't work. I don't feel. Are you with me? This, ooh, that's so tricky, Mr. Weber. Good. I'm doing my job. You've got to be able to apply your knowledge. Let's try another one. My left arm can't move. Where's the damage?
So
Right side.
pre.
Right side what?
Pre.
Motor, so it's what?
Gyro.
Which gyrus? Pre-central gyrus. High or low?
Low.
Low. Because the little man is upside down, remember? The hands come before the legs. Are you with me? That's what we're talking about. Okay? Using the knowledge that you have gained by actually drawing these things out with me when you did, and if you didn't draw them with me and you're a kinesthetic person, draw it. If you're visual, draw it. If you draw it 3 times, you'll never forget it. But if you've drawn it never, well, that's why you don't remember it. Okay? But don't wait until, Sunday night, 12 minutes till midnight and start saying, well, let me start studying this. No, because in 3 minutes it'll be too late to even start your test. Okay. What is a TIA? We did it last week. What kind of stroke? Permanent?
No.
What's the T stand for?
Temporary.
Mr. T. No. What? What's T stand for?
Temporary.
Not temporary, but close. Transient. Comes and goes. Got it? Transient what? Ischemic, blocking of your blood flow, attack. You had a blood clot. Here in the brain, oh, I can't feel anything in my arm. But it goes away. Now my arm feels fine. Are you with me? Transient. It came and it went. Okay? Now, is that still a problem we need to check into? Yeah, because if you've had one stroke, you might have another one that's more permanent, causing actual damage because of lack of oxygen to that part of your brain. 10-4? So you still got to have it checked out. Okay, what kind of fibers are commissures in your brain? We did this when we dissected. Thank you. Left to right. And give me the name of that super highway going left and right that we cut through when we dissected the brain. It's on your lab practical. That's this weekend too, guys, or this week. Corpus callosum, thank you. What are these fibers? Okay. Low to high. Projection fibers. Like the ones that are coming up your spinal cord, going to your thalamus, then going into your hemispheres, right? Okay. What are association fibers, which we cut, and I showed them to you in lab Monday?
Like on each side, madly.
No, they stay in one hemisphere. It's the white axons that stay in one hemisphere, okay? All right. Give me some situations that you can tell the sympathetic nervous system is working. Hmm? Okay, heart is rate, heart
Your eyes
rate
dilate.
higher,
Your
What?
eyes dilate.
eyes dilate, blood pressure up. Why? Because your blood vessels are squeezing down. And when you constrict your blood vessels, it brings up your blood pressure. Like we said earlier, just like putting your thumb over the hole on a garden hose, doesn't it make the pressure harder? Okay, same thing with your blood vessels. We're not putting a thumb in the middle of it, but we are squeezing down on it. 10-4. What are some of the manifestations of parasympathetic?
Heart slows
How about
down.
everything we just said opposite? Heart rate down, blood pressure down, pupils constrict. Got it? Blood vessels dilate to lower your blood pressure. Yes or no? Okay? That is why this is called fight or flight, and this is called rest and digest. So please don't forget, we digest faster, we pee-pee more, we poo-poo more when this is running, because all our blood is going here. What are we going to do here? Pee-pee less, poo-poo less. Salivate less, that's why you get dry mouth. All right. So that leads directly into these two words. What kind of drug is this? The name tells you.
One that mimics sympathetic.
It mimics sympathetic. What is this drug going to do?
Does everything opposite.
It's the opposite of fight or flight. So which one of these two meds will slow down your heart?
Sympatholytic.
Sympatholytic.
Lytic.
Which one will speed up your heart?
Sympatho.
Mimetic. Are you with me? These are all leading into what we're going to be spending the entire semester doing in 211. Okay? Because that's when these two nervous systems are going to be working on your blood vessels and your heart and your lungs and your kidneys and your digestive. And those are what we cover in 211. 10-4? All right. So, sensory versus motor. Where are the sensory and motor parts in your brain?
Sensories. The back.
Sensory in the back, motor in the front. Where are the sensory and the motor in your spinal cord?
The same.
Motor in the front.
Motor in the front, sensory in the back. Okay? The main gyrus for motor, primary motor, contains triangular shaped cells called pyramid cells. And so the axons going down the front of your spinal cord are called the pyramidal tracts. The tracts that come from the pyramid. Not because they're pyramid shaped, they come from the pyramid shaped cells in your brain, in the motor part.
So the brain is the cell and the spine is the tracks. They make those cells.
Is that again?
The brain is the pyramidal cells.
Yeah, in the brain, in that precentral gyrus are the pyramidal cells, and then the axons that come from them go down the front, because that's where the front is, motor. Those are called pyramidal tracts. Okay? All right. So, which spinal roots are motor? Y'all, you're killing me. Spinal cord. Little guys are called roots. Which roots are motor? Ventral, thank you. Which roots are sensory? Dorsal. Which one of the roots has a ganglion?
Dorsal.
Dorsal. What's in the ganglion?
Soma.
The somas of the sensory neurons. Are there ganglion down here? No, because the somas are in the gray matter. They're in the horn, anterior horn. Got it? The anterior horn, the horn is this bulge down here of your gray matter. The anterior horn is where the bodies, the somas of the motor neurons are. Got it? These are the bodies of the sensories. And up here are the bodies of the interneurons that pick up the sensory and send it down to the motor, right? See, that's good for your lab practical as well as your chapter test. Okay, can nerves regenerate?
If the soma is still intact.
If the soma is intact, you can regenerate the axon. If the soma is not intact, it's dead. 10-4? Okay. What do chemoreceptors receive?
Chemicals.
Chemicals. Give me examples.
Acetylcholine.
Where? Where do I find acetylcholine receptors? Y'all, this isn't hard.
B.
We spent a whole week on it. We drew pictures on the board. You had a list of 12 steps.
Muscles.
Which muscles?
Skeleton.
Skeletal muscle. The skeletal muscle has to receive the acetylcholine from the bouton of the nerve. Give me another chemoreceptor we spent about 30 minutes talking about last week. No, Monday.
The nose.
Yeah, the nose. What do we call the chemicals we smell?
Oh.
What? Odorants. What do we call the chemicals we taste? Tastants. Those are chemoreceptors, folks. They pick up those chemicals. Give me an example of a mechanoreceptor. What am I doing?
Touching.
Thank you. Ever heard of a touch receptor? Yeah, we only spent a whole week on that. It's called the skin. What do we call the touch receptors in the skin? You got 3 of them. 2 you better know because they were on your lab practical, and 1 was not on your lab practical because it's only mentioned in the chapter test. It's only mentioned in the chapter, sorry. Hoo-ha, hoo-ha? Nope, no-see is 100% pain, not touch. The Meissner's corpuscles for light touch. And who are the one that look like an onion deeper? Thank you. Say it. Pacinian for pressure. When we get to 211, you will also have pressure receptors in your aorta and your carotid arteries, which keep track of your blood pressure. Which is what? Just your blood pushing against them. Got it? Mechanoreceptors. Yes or no? Give me another mechanoreceptor where something pushes. We talked about that Monday. I want to reach out and touch someone. I believe we had 2 people standing up here with 2 cups and a string. What's the mechanoreceptor?
Talking?
Who?
Talking?
No, talking is not a mechanoreceptor because you're not receiving. How do you receive me talking to you? What's moving when I talk to you? What's getting pushed by the air and it has to go back and forth in your ear?
Sounds.
Starts with a tim and ends with panic.
The tympanic membrane.
Tympanic membrane. Isn't that moving back and forth? Is that a chemical? Is that moving because acid hit it? What's hitting it? Physical pulses of air. That's called a mechanical receptor, folks. That's a mechanical receptor. Because just like your fingers have to move when they're touching something, your tympanic membrane has to move in order for you to experience this thing called hearing.
So
Okay.
I have a question.
Yes.
So when we take the test on these, instead of us looking for touch, pressure, vibration, we should be looking for examples like
Right.
okay,
Examples of touch, vibration, yeah.
okay,
Touch, pressure, and vibration. So if I say, which one of these deals with touch and vibration, A, B, C, D, or E, what are you going to pick?
Mechanical receptors.
When it comes to odorants and tastants and, which one of that? A, B, C, or D?
Chemoreceptors.
When it comes to something being hot or something being cold, which one is it Thermoreceptors. When it comes to making sure your legs are in equilibrium when you are riding a bicycle or riding a unicycle or on a skateboard, which one of these receptors is making sure you're not falling? Which one of these? Proprioceptors. Because proprio has to do with balance. Okay? Which one helps you to see the light?
Photoreceptors.
Yeah. Got it? And which one helps you experience pain?
Nociceptors.
Period. It doesn't matter what the pain is. It could be pain from, that's very hot. Or pain from, that's very sharp. Got it? Or pain like, you put acid on me. 10-4? It doesn't matter. It's still pain. Okay? All right. How are we doing? And that's why this is here. I won't have 6 questions, but those will be the possible answers you got to choose from. Does that make sense? So that's why I'd rather you not learn just one of them, but learn all of them so you know which one to eliminate. Okay? All right. Okay. What do I call the connective tissue around one axon?
Myelin.
Myo means muscle. These are nerves.
Nerve.
Nerve what? Say it again. What do we call it around one muscle cell?
Endodermal.
Okay.
You said right.
What? Hold on. What does the word epi mean every time? On top. So would that be around one nerve or one muscle? That's around the entire bundle. Okay? So what's the one for one?
Endo.
Endo.
Neurium.
It's going to be, for neurium this time. Got it? And what do I call a group?
Period.
I know, but what do I call a group? It has its own name. A group of muscles, or a group of motor neurons, or a group of sensory neurons. What do I call a group? Starts with fast and ends with ickle. Ever heard of fascicle? No, Mr. Weber, I wasn't here those 6 days. Okay. Fascicle is a bundle of nerves or a bundle of muscles. So, here's my test question. What connective tissue covers a fascicle? Hairy. Neurium for nerves, mycium for muscles. But it's peri, which doesn't mean round. Okay? Don't make it harder than it has to be, folks. These are just a few vocabulary words that can be turned easily into a couple of Quizlets. Or flashcards if you're more of a physical, hands-on person. Okay? I wouldn't know how to do a Quizlet, and I don't have a phone that can do a Quizlet, so I would be a flashcard person. Okay? But then I'm also ancient. All right? Pre-telephone years. Okay? All right. Spinal reflex. Give me a descriptive word, or 2 words actually, that explains how a spinal reflex works. Give me a 2-word description / definition of a spinal reflex. Well, let's see. Here is the examples Mr. Weber gave you. We played the last set of baseball games this way to determine the winner in the United States. We describe this as a person who likes to kill his neighbors this way. What word describes that final baseball set of games and how this person kills his neighbors one at a time. Cereal. Not Captain Crunch cereal with an S. Got it? Oh, they asked that. That was a question on Jeopardy, I think, or some other. I heard it on the radio this morning. They said, now think about the Olympics. Okay? So, what do you think of when we say cereal? Everybody went, killer. No. Wheaties. Remember the Wheaties box? They always put the gal who won the gold medal on a Wheaties box. I know, you're going like, Wheaties? What are those? Cereals? I've never heard of it. Yeah, I know. You pour them into a bowl and you add milk to it. And then you use what? A spoon. Never heard of those. Okay, sorry. Apologize. But yeah, the person on the Jeopardy game said serial killer. No, that's not what you think of in the Olympics, a serial killer. Okay? Wrong cereal. Why do we call a spinal reflex serial? Why is that a series circuit? How does the serial killer kill? One after the other. How does the World Series baseball games get played? One after the other. So how does a spinal nerve work?
One after the other.
One neuron in, interneuron, one neuron out. Got it? It's a series, one after the other. They're not parallel, they're not at the same time. Where do we find parallel nerves? Doing what? Thank you. That was on the last test. What's the best way to learn? What was the best way to study for this test? Right? Didn't it say series, parallel after discharge, or praying a lot, right? I guess half of you picked praying a lot. Remember that question? Okay. All right. Is this difficult? I'm not trying to make it. It is difficult? This is exactly what you need to know. Tonic versus phasic nerves or neurons. What is a tonic and what is a phasic neuron? What do these two words mean? Who's got their notes? Who's got some kind of flashcard, Quizlet, anything? No, Mr. Weber. I don't study. I don't take notes. Why would I do that? It goes against my, nature. It's against my religion to study.
Tonic connects to a single muscle, or phasic is multiple?
No.
Tonic do not adapt.
No. Tonic and phasic are nerves, but nothing to do with muscles. Literally nothing to do with muscles. They're sensory.
So one does adapt and one doesn't adapt.
Okay, one adapts and one does not adapt. What does adapt mean? What's adapt mean? Here, and coming to nurses. Neurons. What does adapt mean?
You don't want them to stop.
To get used to.
Get used to it to the point that you don't even feel it anymore. Okay? So, which one of these two words means adapts to the point you don't even feel it anymore?
Phasic.
Phasic. Okay? Is that right? I don't know. You tell me.
Yeah.
Okay. So, give me an example of a nerve that adapts. Yeah, pressure. Like the pressure of your butt in the chair. It's not bothering you to the point you got to get up every 6 seconds. You're used to it. Pressure at the bottom of your feet. Can't you stand and walk without going, I can't do it anymore. Right? How about touch? Aren't your clothes touching you? Are you constantly going, oh my God, it's touching me? You're getting used to it, yeah? Yes or no? Okay. So, what are the two nerves that we don't ever want to adapt? Nociceptors, because pain is a warning. Take care of this. Quit walking on that broken leg. Got it? Or it'll never heal. Take care of that cut, or bacteria are going to come in and make you sick. Yes or no? What's the other? Who? No. You can get used to thermo, because you can get used to being cold if you live in Alaska. You can get used to being hot if you live in, the desert. Proprio. We don't ever want our knees and our ankles to ever not send a message to our brain. Because then the very next step you take, boom, on the ground you are. So those proprioceptors better never adapt. We've got to know where you are in three-dimensional space so you don't fall over. Okay? Hey, which part of your brain helps you with your three-dimensional, I'm going to move this up, with your three-dimensional moving? What part of your brain?
Your cerebellum?
Cerebellum, very good. That is correct. Oh, look at that, we're almost finished. Okay, what's the job of Mr. Thalamus?
Relay center?
The relay for what? What message? All nerves send a message, but what message?
Like a smell?
Yeah. No, not smell.
Not to move, like to
Everything?
Why you got so hesitant? Did we or did we not draw a little brain here and a spinal cord and an arm coming out? Got it? So, what do I call this message?
Sensory?
Thank you. What do I call this message?
Motor?
That's the answer. It's the relay for all sensory and all motor messages. All incoming sensories go through Mr. Thalamus. All outgoing motors go through Mr. Thalamus. Now, not the sense of sight and the sense of smell and the sense of taste. Sensory from your somato area, from your arms and legs. Motor for your arms and legs. Got it? Okay. What's his function? Say again? Regulates who? I need more than that. That's too broad. Oh, it's easy, folks. Don't make it hard.
Harrison?
It affects you every morning when you get up. Your sleep-wake cycle. Every morning when you eat breakfast. Hunger and thirst cycle. Blood pressure. Body temperature. It regulates a lot of your day-to-day functions. Got it? So Mr. Hypothalamus is very, very important, isn't it? Okay? So in a way, it's your homeostasis, but homeostasis is more specific, like your salt than your water, you know? Okay. So that's your hypothalamus. Very important character, right? Hunger, thirst, even sex drive, a lot of stuff. What's Mr. Amygdala? Here's a hint. We talked about him exactly 32 minutes ago. Fear, anger. Got it? Upset. They're chasing after me. They're coming after me. Got it? Are you with me? That's that center. Conspiracy theories. Got it? The aliens are coming to abduct me tonight, you know? All right. Examples of referred pain. First of all, in general, what is referred pain?
Pain that's felt elsewhere, is the source of the pain.
Exactly. Pain that seems to come from another source rather than the original source. Heart attack. That's the source. Sometimes the pain is here, but sometimes the pain is here. I don't have a heart in my arm. I never got a heart in my neck. But the nerves that come along to my brain are right next to the ones of my heart, and my brain misinterprets. Give me another example. Pain in the gallbladder is in your shoulder. Not because your gallbladder is here. And like I said, I had a student in my room who said, yes, my shoulder was hurting for a week, and they finally diagnosed it was a gallbladder problem, and I had to have it removed. And not because she bumped her shoulder into something. Does that make sense? Okay. So, there are various, those are the two most easily to recognize. Okay. Alpha receptors and beta receptors. First of all, which nervous system uses alpha and beta receptors? That's not a nervous system. Which nervous system? Here's the hint.
Sympathetic.
Sympathetic. Write that on a piece of paper right now. Don't get this wrong on my test, folks. You've only got 60 questions to choose from. You can't be throwing away 30 of them expecting to have a good grade. All right. Alpha and beta receptors are for your sympathetic. So what do they receive?
Chemical acetylcholine or
Never acetylcholine. Epinephrine. Norepinephrine. Got it? They're sympathetic, folks. They're sympathetic. Epi and norep. Got it? All right. In general, what are all alpha receptors? Stimulatory or inhibitory? It's a 50-50 question, y'all. How about half the room say something? Thank you. You pass. Stimulatory, meaning every time an alpha receptor receives epi or norepi, the message moves on. Got it? Will do what the message says. Jack up your blood pressure. Make your heart beat faster. 10-4. In general, beta receptors are inhibitory because when epi and norepi get here, do I digest more or digest less? More or less? It's a 50-50 question, guys. More or less? So it's inhibitory. The only place beta is stimulatory is on your heart, which is why Mr. Weber is on beta blockers to block epinephrine from making my heart beat too fast, even when my students are not answering my questions. Which is, see, my doctor knows. I go, alrighty? But my heart can't do that because I'm on a beta blocker, alrighty? That's what's keeping me alive and keeping you in my class. Well, keeping you out of jail for killing me. Yeah, just joking. Alright, everybody with me? So, what nervous system use nicotinic and muscarinic receptors? Y'all, you only have two nervous systems in your entire body. Sympathetic and parasympathetic. One of these two belong to the sympathetic. What do you think these two belong to?
Yes.
So what chemical lands on them? Thank you. And which one is always stimulatory when acetylcholine hits it?
nicotine.
Because nicotine is a stimulant. Which one is always inhibitory when acetylcholine hits it? Because we said muscadine grapes makes wine, and wine is more of a depressant than it is a stimulant. No, we never said that. Yeah, we did. It's actually written in your PowerPoints too. All right. What happened?
Can you say that again? Can you repeat that
Yeah.
again?
Nicotinic
Mm-hmm.
Always stimulatory when acetylcholine hits it. Muscarinic, mostly, if not always, inhibitory when acetylcholine hits it. Okay? So, when acetylcholine hits my heart, does acetylcholine speed up or slow down my heart?
Slows down.
Slow down.
So it must have muscarinic receptors on it, not nicotinic. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, where would the stimulatory nicotinic acetylcholine receptors be? All your muscles
Okay.
and your intestines and stomach. Aren't we trying to get these to speed up when we are in parasympathetic? Well, that will slow it down. This would speed it up because this is stimulatory. That's what stimulatory means. Do that job, not undo that job. All right, passive and active transport during an action potential. What is an active transport?
Uses ATP.
Uses ATP, period.
Mm-hmm.
What is a passive transport?
Diffuses.
Uses no ATP, period. Are you with me? Don't make it hard. When you are transporting something, it usually needs to go through a door, a gate, a channel. Got it? Whatever it is you want to call it. Remember? See? It's closed, but now it opens up. Okay? All right. Now, action potential. Remember? Rest. Heading up to what?
Threshold.
Threshold. Action potential. What do I call it going up? Depolarization. What's it coming down? Repolarization. What's it going below?
Hyperpolarization.
Hyperpolarization. Not hyper. Okay? And then we're back to, let me make sure I get to the right spot. Now we're back to rest again. Done for? Okay. To go up, what gate is opening?
The ligand gate.
Voltage gate?
We are having a good old time, aren't we? One gate, two gates, three gates. We drew this on the board. Some of us drew it along with me. This is a cell membrane, right? Cell membrane, right? Gate going all the way through, yeah? Gate? Okay. I want the inside of my cell, which is negative 70 millivolts, to head towards negative 55 millivolts, and eventually move all the way up here to positive 30 millivolts. So what's the inside of my cell becoming? I'm going from negative 70 to 30. Am I becoming more negative or more positive?
Positive.
If I want the inside to become positive, what needs to go inside?
Sodium.
Something positive called sodium. Are you with me? Where is sodium
In the blood.
in your body in 100 times higher concentration than in the other part of your body?
In the blood.
In the blood. 100 times more in your blood. So, where do I want this to go?
Inside.
Did this door open because I have to use ATP?
No.
The answer is absolutely no. It opens because of voltage. It's a voltage gate. But when it opens, since I have millions out here and only hundreds in here, did this want to flow in from high concentration to low? Yes or no? That's passive. That's 100% what?
Passive
Passive.
transport.
Okay? Now, I was negative and positive, but now, what am I?
Positive.
Positive on the inside, and therefore, by definition, I have flipped the poles. I have depolarized my polarized cell. But I don't want to do this forever. I need to undo it. So what am I going to do now?
Potassium go out.
Exactly. Do I have, what am I? Yeah. I just want to make it a different color. I've got millions in here and only hundreds out here. I open this door. Do I have to force this out with ATP? No, I don't, because from millions to hundreds, the millions want to flow in, high to low. 10-4, which makes the outside positive and the inside negative. Okay? Which is why the inside becomes negative. Yeah? I'm back to going to negative. Even a little bit more negative to prevent the flow from going backwards. We don't want the electrical signal going backwards. Okay? But is this the proper place for potassium to be in my blood? No. Can somebody tell me why it is dangerous to have high levels of potassium in your blood?
Stops your heart.
It stops your heart. That's what's in the lethal injection, which is given to somebody to stop their heart. Yeah? Hence the name lethal. Okay. So, do I want this to keep coming out every time I do this? Because I don't want to die of a heart attack. So, what is the third door?
Sodium potassium pump.
Okay, sodium potassium pump. And when it has the name pump in the name, it's because ATP energy is needed to do what?
To restore.
Force the potassium back in from low to high. I'm forcing the potassium in at the same time that I'm what? Forcing the sodium back out from low to high. Are you with me? So, all the doors in an action potential are passive, 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 except one. The sodium potassium pump that puts the chemicals back where they belong is the only one that's active. Are you with me? Because a passive door just opens and allows things to go through. Got it? An active door pumps it through. Got it? Now, remember, we had a Bhutan, yeah? You remember him?
Yes.
And we had little gates here to let who in?
Calcium.
Calcium, right? When the calcium flowed in, active or passive?
Passive.
100% passive, because there's millions out here and like 20 in here. But who opened this gate?
Oh, voltage.
Voltage. The electricity coming down the nerve. Yes or no? Okay? And so, remember, here's your motor end plate, right? On your muscle Sorry, am I out of the view? And here comes our acetylcholine, right? Being released when the calcium comes in. And we have little doors here. That gets open to let what? Sodium in. The sodium out here comes in. Do I have to pump the sodium in?
No.
Because there's millions out here and hundreds in here. Just like that door. But that gets my action potential started. I got to have enough sodium coming in to reach threshold. Got it? Then everything else is automatic. Who opened this gate?
Acetylcholine.
Acetylcholine. So it's a what gate?
Ligand gate.
A ligand gate. Or a chemical gate. A ligand, ligand, means a chemical that binds. It's got to bind to the receptor. What's a ligature?
Something that.
A suture. When you're sewing up somebody's skin, do you want it to stay apart or come together? All the same root words. Bind. Together. Okay? Ligand, ligature, same thing. Okay? How are we doing? Alright. Hopefully by this time, this is not brand spanking new, but a review. Yeah? Sorry. I don't know how to reset the timer on these things. Maybe my computer expert here can show me how to do that. Because the timer's on like 5 minutes or something. Okay. Good. Okay. Ascending tracts in your spinal cord. What do they carry?
Sensory.
Sensory. Descending carry what?
Motor.
Easy. Ascendings are found where?
In the back. No. Post.
I don't know. You tell me. Ascending are in the back. Sensory. Motor are found in the front. Got it? And there's a mixture on the sides, right? Okay. What do I call each bundle of white tracks going up the front or going down the back? Or going up the back and going down the front? Not fascicles. Funiculi in your lab practical test coming up. Okay. Golgi tendon organ and the muscle spindle. These two are part of what? What did I just do?
Reflex.
Thank you. Reflex. Reflex like, ooh, that's hot. Reflex like somebody's hit that little patellar ligament with the little hammer and your leg kicks out. That's a reflex, folks. You didn't say, okay, let's go. No, it just happened, right? Which one makes your leg kick out? The muscle spindle. Who makes your leg immediately go back to where it was? You've only got another choice.
Golgi tendon organ.
The Golgi tendon organ. Okay? Now, it's called Golgi because it was named by the same guy who discovered the Golgi apparatus in your cells. But it's not your Golgi apparatus doing it. Okay? It's named by the same discoverer. Are you with me? Okay. So, this one is the original kick out. This one is to pull it back. All right? Now, you need to understand, why is this so important that they actually put it in the chapter? Because when you kick out, which muscle group are you tightening? The quadriceps. And the only way to make sure this goes smoothly is to do what to the hamstrings? Completely inhibit them. Otherwise, they would tear. Same thing when you're doing this. When you're doing this, which muscle group is moving? And who better be turned off so we don't tear it? Triceps, brachii. Got it? This only works on arms and legs because it only works with things that you have to move out of the way. Got it? And it deals with antagonistic muscles. Got it? The biceps and the triceps are antagonists. Got it? Quadriceps and the hamstrings are antagonists. When you move one, you have to turn off, inhibit the opposite one. So, when you kick out, who's being stimulated? Quads. Who's being inhibited? Hamstrings. When your leg comes back, who gets stimulated?
Hamstrings.
And who gets totally turned off?
Quadriceps.
And it happens this fast. Isn't that cool? That's how fast your nerves are working. Okay? When your nerves are firing, they go at 100 meters per second. Got it? But there is a little delay between your nerves telling your muscle to move and your muscle actually doing the contraction. What do we call that little delay? The who? It's the dope-de-do. That's the cause. What do we call that? There was a little delay before you grabbed that dollar bill. What was that called? A little bit, then you get your... What was that? What was that little delay in the beginning? Who's got those in their notes? Nut and honey?
Is it an absence potential? Right?
It's got a name. What do you think it is?
An absence potential.
No, the actual potential is this. What's that little delay before we start the contraction? Not rest. Look it up, guys, quick. Right there in the muscle chapter. Right there in the muscle chapter. Who's got their muscle notes? I don't take notes, Mr. Weber. Well, somebody does. You got some raw notes there, right, Miss Rawness?
Yeah.
Okay. Or rawest. What's it called? What's that little thing before we jump? Ain't no hypo, nothing.
Is it latent?
Latent period. Because it's a delay. It's a delay. Got it? Okay. It's a delay. All right. So, little bit of a latent period, and it's caused by the acetylcholine going do-de-do across that gap. Because that's electrical, boom. And that's electrical, boom. But not this. That's your delay. Got it? Okay. Just make sure you understand that. And the reason I'm bringing this all up is because guess where you're going to see all this again?
211.
The final exam, which will be here on Monday. Okay? All right. That way, you don't have to worry about the internet. I don't have to worry about looking at videos. We can get it all done and finished. Okay? All right. So, now, the last part here is the hardest part for my students. So make sure you have this completely under control. All righty? Make sure you have it completely under control. There's a whole chapter on this, chapter 15. Okay? This is somatic. And then we had sympathetic. And the other one was in purple. I don't know if I have purple. No purple, eh? Okay. Well, oh, here's a small one. I'm just copying what our textbooks and all had. The parasympathetic neuron, right? Okay. So, question number 1. Which nervous system only uses one neuron? Somatic. Which one uses 2 neurons?
And parasympathetic.
And para. Okay. Which one uses acetylcholine?
The front.
Well, let's
or the
see.
first one.
Who uses acetylcholine? This one, this one, this one, and this one. So who uses acetylcholine?
All of them.
Who is the only one that uses norepinephrine or epinephrine? Only the second of the sympathetics. Got it? Only the second of the sympathetics. Because my answers will be somatic only, sympathetic only, parasympathetic only, somatic and this and this and this, this and this. Choose the correct answer. 10-4? Okay. Now, which one is short pre, long post? I better draw this a little bit better for you.
Sympathetic.
Okay. Sympathetic. This is long. And then a short pre. Okay. So let me just make sure I get my acetylcholine back on there for you. Okay. So, what's a good thing? Short, followed by long. How about your parasympathetic? Long, followed by short. And short, okay? Why? Because this comes out of your back. Sympathetic chain ganglia right next to your spinal cord. And where does this come out of?
Brain.
Your brain and butt. That's why it's long vagus nerve, and then a short one to your heart, and a short one to your stomach. Got it? Yeah? Yeah? Okay. Can you answer these questions? Keep this drawing in your head. Got it? That's how it works. Okay? And if you're a visual learner, draw this a couple of times. You'll never get it wrong again. If you're kinesthetic, draw it a couple of times. You'll never get it wrong. Okay? But that tells me you know who's got 1, who's got 2, who's short, who's long, who's got acetylcholine, who's got norepinephrine. 10-4? All right. Oh, is the acetylcholine going to make the muscle do something? Yeah, it's called contract. Is the acetylcholine going to make your muscle do this? Yes. So what kind of receptor? I know. What kind of cholinergic receptor would that be on your muscle? On your muscle. I know I did this 30 minutes ago. Maybe 15.
muscle.
Is it these or these? It's acetylcholine. Is it these or these?
The bottom one's nicotinic.
Only the second ones.
Oh, the,
Acetylcholine is not alphas and betas, that's epi and norepi. So, what kind of receptor is your muscle going to have? Am I going to make my muscle do it? Is it going to make my muscle contract? So, am I stimulating my muscle or turning my muscle off?
Stimulating. Both.
So, what kind of receptor would it be?
Nicotinic.
Nicotinic 100% all the time. What kind of receptor would I have here when acetylcholine hits it? Do I want this message to stop right here and nothing else? Or do I want it to keep on going?
Keep on going.
So would that be inhibitory or stimulatory here?
Stimulatory.
100% stimulatory. So what kind of receptor would I have here? Nicotinic again. What kind of receptor would I have here? Nicotinic again. What kind of receptor would I have here? Either nicotinic or muscarinic, depending on who the organ is. Got it? But this is 100%. I got to keep going. I have to have this keep going. I have to have this keep going. Why send a message if you don't want the muscle to work? Yes or no? Okay. Is that the last of it?
Nope.
There's more?
Yeah.
Look on your computer. Okay.
One more page.
One more page?
It's
Okay.
like 1/4.
That's fine, that's fine. Alright. There you go. Okay, the eyes and the ears and the nose. Okay, we just did this one on Monday, so it shouldn't be too hard. What is a myopic eye?
It's when your eye is when you can't see far.
Okay, myopic means I can only see close, not far. Is my eye too long or too short? Too long. Okay. Presbyopia. Farsighted. Eye too long or too short?
Too short.
Too short. And the image is now behind your retina. What's emmetropic? Normal. The image is directly on your retina. 20/20 vision. Yeah? Okay. What's the best medium for sound?
Solids.
You better get that one right.
Wait, what is it?
Solid.
Solid. Oh, right.
Didn't we bang on the table with our ear and
Yes.
listen? Okay. All right. How does the cochlea work? We send pressure waves of liquid, and they do what? Bend little hairs, and each little hair is attached to a nerve that tells your brain, I'm hearing stuff. That's how it works. Okay? How do your nose and your taste buds work? A chemical lands on a chemoreceptor, and the message gets changed from a chemical message to an electrical message, and your brain says, ooh, I taste this. Ooh, I smell this. Got it? Okay. What are these two equilibriums? What's dynamic equilibrium? And they even have an example of a person on ice skates going like this. What's dynamic equilibrium? Holding your balance while you are what? Moving. Dynamic. Wow. She's so dynamic, she's just sitting there. No. right? Dynamic means you're moving around, yeah? You've never heard of somebody being a dynamo? No, okay, that's an old-fashioned word, okay. Comes from dynamic, which means to move. So, who is in charge of your dynamic equilibrium? Your equilibrium of, I'm moving to the left, I'm moving to the right, I'm moving up in the elevator, I'm moving down in the elevator. Who's in charge? Semicircular canals with the liquid going back and forth. Yeah, yeah? Okay. Who's in charge of your static equilibrium? I'm leaning to the right, I'm leaning to the left, I'm leaning forward or backward. Who's that? Little rocks in your ear called otoliths. Lithium, lith means rock. That's where lithium comes from, the ground. Okay? It's a mineral. So, everybody with me? Don't get that wrong. What do rods see?
Black and white.
They don't see darkness, they see black and white. So they only work in the dark. What do cones see?
Color.
So they only work in the
Daytime.
light. Got it? Okay. What's glaucoma?
The
Yeah, it's with your eyes, right. What's wrong with your eyes? You got glaucoma.
high pressure.
Where? It's
In
high
the-
pressure where?
In the
In the eye, yeah. No. Where? No.
the
How do we do a
fluid
glaucoma test? Do we check the back of your eye or the front of your eye?
front of the eye.
Because it's the pressure in the front of your eye that we're worried about. The pressure in the space between the lens and the cornea. What do I call that watery stuff? Aqueous watery humor. Got it? We're checking the aqueous humor in the front of the eye. And four? What's macular degeneration?
It's when your retina is detached.
Okay, in the back where your retina is, in the dead center, the macula lutea, where we see most of what we see, starts to deteriorate and die. 10-4? Okay. Might as well stick it on here. What is cataracts?
It's when your lens gets covered in.
Okay. When the lens gets cloudy, it's no longer clear. Got it? Which means you can't see any light coming in. We can say your respiration wrong on this test. I'm so disappointed. What is step one? Glycolysis. How many ATPs do I make? 2. Where does it take place? In New Jersey. No, where does it take place? In the cytoplasm. Inside the cell, but not in the mitochondria. Got it? What's step 2? Prep step. How many ATPs? 0. Where does it take place?
Mitochondria.
In the mitochondria. What is step 3? Krebs cycle. How many ATPs? Where does it take place?
The mitochondria.
Mitochondria. What is step 4?
The
ETS or electron transport system. How many ATPs?
32.
32. Where? In
Mitochondria.
the mitochondria. Who's taken that open book quiz? Thank you. So, please answer the following test question. Why do we breathe oxygen? Parentheses, and if you say to stay alive, I will take off 20 points. That's exactly word for word what my test says. Because that is not why we breathe oxygen.
Do aerobic respiration.
Because if we could do the same thing with nitrogen, we'd be breathing nitrogen. But we breathe oxygen. Because It's the only chemical that can do what? It picks up the electrons that have been delivered to the ETS, making the oxygen become negatively charged, so it can pull the positively charged hydrogens through the spinning synthase molecule, which creates the 32 ATPs. Is there a spinning synthase molecule in step 1, in step 2, in step 3? That's why we don't make 32 ATPs in those steps. It's only in the last step that we have this spinning molecule, but it only works if hydrogens come through. Well, hydrogens aren't going to flow through on their own. They're going to be pulled by a big negatively charged molecule called oxygen. I don't have a periodic table in the room, but oxygen weighs 16, hydrogen weighs 1. Who's going to pull who?
Oxygen's pulling hydrogen.
Oxygen's going to pull the hydrogen. But oxygen by itself can't do that. It has to become negative first from the electrons delivered to the electron transport system. Why do you think they call it that? Are electrons kind of involved? Yeah. And what are those electrons going to do? Help transport the hydrogens. But they have to jump on a big old oxygen molecule first. All animals that use oxygen use it for the exact same reason, to make ATP. Fish use oxygen because there's oxygen in the water. Got it? And their gills can extract that oxygen. Then 4, the only organisms that don't use oxygen are anaerobic bacteria, but everybody else uses oxygen. Then 4, even plants use oxygen. What oxygen? The ones they make. The oxygen they make is the oxygen they use in their cellular respiration. Because what do plants mostly make?
Glucose.
Oxygen and glucose. Because what do they use? What do they take in? Carbon dioxide. Isn't that nice? Who had to be here first, plants or animals?
Plants.
And that's what the Bible says too. And they didn't know anything about oxygen and mitochondria. It's just logical. Somebody's got to make what we need before we can use them. 10-4. Okay. How are we doing? Maybe? Could be? Okay. All right. Want to do some final exam reviews? Sure. All right. You can turn that off.